Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Carlos. How are you?
Good.
Good, good. Thank you. So it's 7 a.m. right now, so maybe somebody else will join. I'm cleaning the camera there.
We'll wait a few seconds for.
Yeah, it's all right. We can start anyways. Are you gonna work from home today, or are you going to the office?
Yeah, actually, I'm working from home.
Okay. Is that a permanent thing or?
It's a permanent thing.
Hey,
Yes.
that's good. How cool.
It's really good. I actually like it. Sometimes I want to go to the office, right? And since I don't have a team here in El Salvador, I just have one colleague here and actually he has already resigned to the company and he's leaving
Wow.
on the coming 21st, if I'm not
Uh-huh.
mistaken.
Okay.
And my other colleague, he is in Poland,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, that's
Yeah.
Poland. And basically that's the reason why I don't go to the office because I don't have a team like in the
There's no
office.
need for you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. I mean, it's good that you're working 100% from the office. I work from home as well. Um, but sometimes I would like to go to the office. I guess like from time to time to see my peers, talk to them, have a chat. Um, but yeah, but I live in Santa Ana, so but the office is in Santa Tecla. So if traffic, for me,
So
it's
then
kind
you
of,
think, yeah, you think about the traffic and then you say, I probably can
and
see
then
them.
and then I say I'm happy here from home.
I will send them a voice note and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes about 2 hours from for me to get there. Um,
Have
say
you ever
that
been?
if I enter at 7 a.m., I need to wake up like around 4:30, to get ready, shower, dressed, and then about 5 p.m. I need to start my trip, and then yeah, it takes about 2 hours. So for me to get there, it's like 2 hours and a half, and when I wake up and then shower and dressed. So I think that's too much.
In my case, I don't know if you know uh, the Boulevard Constitución,
Yeah,
Walmart, in the supermarket Walmart.
yeah.
So I live nearby Walmart, and the office is just like 7 kilometers away from my home. I
Okay.
could even, if I wanted to, I could even walk.
Wow.
But I can also use the bicycle because it is not that far. Because if I go on my car, for example, it will take, if there's no traffic, it would take like probably 12 to 15 minutes to get to the office.
Oh, that's good. Is there a lot of people there
Where,
in your office?
yeah, there's a lot of people that gets to the office.
Oh, okay. Um, and where's their office at? I
The
honestly
office.
I did not know about Aplaudo until now
Do
with
you
you.
know, let's say, do you know this building nearby where Canal 2 was located in the Manuel Enrique
Yeah,
Araujo?
I know that channel building, but okay, so it's around
It's,
then.
yeah, it's pretty near there.
Okay, get.
Hey,
Hey George, welcome.
Good morning.
Morning. How's your day going?
Well, I'm starting my day actually. So
Yeah.
everything's good.
Okay. Hey, what's your schedule, people, in your work?
Um, well, it depends, but for example, my schedule is from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But there's a lot of people that works from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
and another one that is from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. But it
Oh, okay.
depends on the client, right?
Okay. So you guys have different clients,
Yeah, a lot of them.
like
Most of
like
them are in the US.
okay, and like one person handles one company, or how does it
No,
work?
there are teams, and these teams are combined with different roles:
Okay.
developers, QAs, project managers, designers. It
Oh,
depends on the
okay.
project, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good then. I thought that all of you were working like for a single company, but I mean, of course, you work for Aplaudo, which is like the company here, but then that have different areas and companies that you guys work with, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And what's your position as Drupal? What do you
Hi.
do there?
Yeah, and I am in charge of reports. I work as a data engineer for
Uh,
Walmart, and basically what I do is build reports, build
okay,
dashboards for the company.
okay, that's good. What kind of reports do you do?
Financials,
Financial?
financial reports, all that
Uh,
uh, things that matters with the economy and matches the transactions. Um, we have like a different we call it ATL that
ETL.
we extract information from one source and get to another.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what we do is compare the data between layers, and if everything is correct, we set up the business rules as successful. And if not, we have a different reports to identify what is the missing part when from one to stage to another.
Okay. Okay, that's good. What are your challenges? This session is going to be more about
Oh, great.
talking about you, about what you do, about what you guys struggle with more. And so I want to ask you, like, each one of you, like, what do you struggle more when talking to your clients? Do you all talk to your clients, or is there someone here who doesn't? You
Well,
all?
I think for all of us, we because it's not just like we give delivers to the client, but we work with partners in United States or in different countries,
Okay.
and we have partners not only in here in El Salvador, we have partners in Brazil, Argentina, most common to Spanish speakers.
Okay.
But for example, with Brazil, they speak Portuguese, so we communicate in English.
Okay.
Uh, and the most challenging part, I think, at the beginning was the language, basically because I did not how to express myself correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, or the listening part was one of the difficult parts because we work a lot of with Indian people, so they do not have a like a normal English. They have their own accent, you know. So at the beginning, understand what they were saying was difficult because they speak very fast.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
know.
mhm,
So, and that's exactly what I was saying yesterday when we speak fast, people do not understand us, like
mhm,
Indian people. Okay.
mhm.
So when they
And
speak,
the
yeah,
accent is kind of different, and because they, I don't know.
So they haven't.
So
So all of us have accents, right? But there are people like who have the accent is more like it's just stronger, right? And so they have a stronger accent,
mhm, that's right. That's right.
and they
But
Actually,
speak fast.
that's
uh,
right. But now that I have worked like 3 years with Indian people, because I think the most part of my work it's been working with Indian people. It's not hard to understand them,
Mm,
uh, but sometimes explain or connect the word, as I was saying yesterday, is the hard part for me.
okay. Now, Indian people, how long do you think they have been speaking English? Like either in the company or, well, let's say, yeah, in the company. Like for how long do you think they've been speaking
My
English?
partner,
Huh? Like, are they more tenure than you are?
In my case, 2 years.
Okay.
I think most of them has, well, a few of them has been talking like, I think like 5 years. And
Okay.
the advantage that they have is some of them live in US,
Okay.
so they are exposed to English more frequently than we are.
Okay. And now let me ask you this. Just the fact, and I'm not talking only to Azurbal, okay? So I'm also talking to George, Carlos, Ricardo, Brian, Dan. So if you wanna jump in, feel free. Now, the fact that Indian co-workers you guys have been working for 5+ years in this company and they live in the US and they being exposed to the language like not which is not our case but it's their case, so they're supposed to be more maybe fluent, conversational, have more vocabulary, has less accent, but what about their accent right now? Do you think that the fact that they've been working more years in the company and they've been living in the US for many years, has that made them more understandable when they speak or fluent?
I think that the accent will be always something that you'll have, no
Hmm.
matter how many years you live in the United States. It's different, for example, if you were born in the States.
Hmm.
So I would say those kids, and it's it's really funny because like three weeks ago I met a niece. No,
Yeah.
it's nephew, un sobrino, nephew, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so I met this nephew. He's the son of one of my cousins. She is from San Miguel.
Yeah.
She has lived in the States since 1992. So
She's got
that's
no accent.
uh,
He's got no accent.
no, that's the funny part. My cousin has a very strong accent from San Miguel with the jota, right?
Yeah.
Every time she's speaking, she's like, "Mira qué bonito este volado," and it's funny. She has lived there in the States like for 20
He's
or
never
I don't know how
dropped
many years now.
the
Yeah,
accent.
and the funny part is that my nephew has also that accent, and he was born in the States, and I was like, why do you have that accent if you were born in the States, right? So I consider that it does not depend probably how many years you have lived in the States, but also your environment, the people that you surround with. Probably that's they will give you this how do you say um I don't know how to say it, this tone perhaps, or this accent based on where they come from.
Right.
That's what I consider.
Okay, thank you. And that's what I want to get. That's what I want to get to. The fact that somebody is living, working, being around people with people in the US doesn't mean that they're gonna drop the accent. Indian people, for example, they keep their accent and they speak fast. They do not articulate. They do not do intonation, and that is a problem. Having an accent is fine. All of us have accents. Okay, me, for example, any other teacher, you guys, you have an accent, I have an accent, and that's quite normal. There's nothing wrong with having an accent. Now, having a strong accent, I'm not a fan of Shakira or anyone living in Colombia, but if you've heard how she speaks, she does have an accent, but it's not that strong. But then if you listen to Sofia Vergara, have you ever listened to her? I mean, I don't find that funny. I think having that very strong accent is not good. Um, and that's an example. Now where I want to get with this is that, as Carlos says, the fact that you live in the US doesn't mean that you will drop the accents. And it depends on us, okay? Because we can live in this beautiful country, which I love, but we can live in this country and we can have no accent or very little accent, even though we're not living somewhere else. Now, why is it important not to have, well, not to have an accent and do articulation and intonation when we speak? Why is it important?
Because we can confuse the words, or we're not confusing the word, but we can be interpreted like differently because you are not using the correct accent or maybe the correct intonation, and we confuse the words.
Intonation, pronunciation, and also the articulation as well. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now if we talk about business related or our job related, why is it important for us to have a good articulation, good intonation, good pronunciation?
We need to be understood. I mean, very clearly because there are some. I mean, it's obviously that some conversations are more important than others. And when we are in a business, uh, most of the time those conversations are really important. So the problem here is that if you are not understood correctly, some maybe some details can be lost in the process when you're conversating with another person, or maybe the other person cannot understand you very well, and that actually is a problem itself, because even though you think that you shared your thoughts or your opinion on that specific topic, you will not sharing the message that you're thing that you do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's why is it important, as Brian says, the message that we want to communicate. We want this to be smoother. What does that mean? I want the other person not to struggle, try to understand what I'm saying, and that's why I have these example here. If you have a conversation with a 5-year-old kid, what's going to be your struggle to understand this person or this kid?
That
I
he
mean,
doesn't that he does not pronounce the words correctly, or he or she does not know the vocabulary
Yeah,
to
and that
hold the
is his
conversation.
problem. I mean, not his problem, but that's his struggle. But what's going to be your struggle? You like listening to him or her. How are you going to struggle and try to understand them.
Because we don't have the enough vocabulary to understand sometimes the context, what kid from yeah from years 5 years old, and maybe uh, we're not uh, capable to understand the word as a specific word. And my daughter that has
Mm-hmm.
4 years now,
Okay.
some
Yeah.
words in Spanish she doesn't pronounce them as
Yeah.
correctly, and even in Spanish, if we don't know if I am not his father or maybe someone else will not
Okay.
understand because he is not pronouncing the word, but because of the context, I can understand, and the kid will try to give us a context. And if we don't have enough vocabulary, we will not be able to understand. I think so.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, there you go. Okay, so what's gonna be another struggle? And I agree, but so for example, I have a 3.5-year-old boy as well. So whenever he talks to me, I'm like, if I'm standing like this and he's here, so every time he talks, like I'm like I get closer and I try to be um all my attention is going to be focused on him because I want to make sure I understand what he says.
Yeah.
And then same happens with when somebody when you talk to somebody in India or Indian, right? Living in the US. Whenever you talk to them, and if it is in a computer, and if you don't have the headsets, you're like, okay, getting closer to the speaker. And if you have these headphones, you're gonna put your hands like this because you want to understand, right? How about Jamaican people? Same. They have a very strong accent. And so whenever they talk, you're like, because you want to understand as well. What if you talk to somebody in the US, but living in New York? You guys know that people in New York, they speak fast as well.
And they use a specific slang.
They use a lot of slang. You know why North American speakers as well, they speak fast sometimes, like depending on the state and depending on the area they grew up. Because in school they do the spelling bee contest. Do you know what is the spelling bee?
Yeah, it's really famous in the US.
It is very famous. And kids do it, in first grade, like in school, and they keep doing it and throughout the whole life. Something we don't do here. So that's why when we ask them to spell something, they do it quick, fast. Okay. But anyways, so talking to a 5-year-old kid, talking to Indian people, talking to somebody in Jamaica, talking to somebody in New York, um, this is gonna be hard for us to understand. Okay, so me that I'm listening, I'll require more attention so I can understand. But what if I talk to somebody and I have a conversation with somebody in the US in another state that is not New York, that the accent is more, you know, neutral, and they do not speak that fast. How do you think I'm gonna struggle with that conversation
Well, probably if you try to speak to somebody from the south part of
as
the United
well?
States, that you
Yeah,
will have a problem as well.
yeah, as
But
well.
probably if you speak with somebody from California, I think they have a very good accent.
Neutral.
It's
Yeah,
kind of picky sometimes,
yeah.
or we can call it in Spanish fresa. But
Yeah.
you understand very
I
well.
know. Yeah, that's right. But okay, so the message that I want to convey to you is that we have to work ourselves better and try to be our communication smoother and easy for people to understand. We don't want to sound like we have fire. Oh, this is not okay. We don't want to sound like we have you know, like if we are a 5-year-old kid that we don't know how to say, and we're giving the round around to explain something, and we don't find the words, and the person in your company is gonna be like, "What are you trying to say? I don't understand," right? Or we don't want to sound like Indian people either. We don't want to sound like we're into Jamaica. We don't want to sound like we're speaking too fast, like in New York. Can you imagine us speaking very fast and not knowing what to say and having a strong accent like Indian or Jamaican people? That's gonna make it harder for people to understand. Okay. Now, if in your meetings or sessions that you have with the client, you now things are easier because they understand you, you understand them, it doesn't mean that they understand you at 100%, or it doesn't mean that there's no more room for improvement coming from you. There's always room for improvement. Okay, there are always things that we can improve when we are communicating with them, either in meetings, emails, or whatever. Um, that's why I was asking you, like, what are your struggles now? You're saying that you understand them well. Okay, that's good. But how about them? Do you think well, of course they understand you because you've been in the company for quite some time already. But we can always make things better, either for them to understand us or the way we communicate with them. So now what we're gonna do is that I need you to tell me what kind of meetings you have with them and what kind of communication or what kind of information you report to them. I'm gonna give you an example. So, um, for example, me, I am a trainer in my company. So every time I meet with them, I let them know. I'm gonna share my screen with the whiteboard. So me in my company, I am a product. I'm a product trainer. Okay, so what does that mean? That I train new people in the company. Okay, so and in my meetings, what I do is that I share with the managers. Let me make these bigger. I share with managers about how many people I have, what I'm going to train them on. I'm also explain scores, like um, test scores. I also um, when they will be in production, like working already. And I think that's it. Like just to have an idea. Okay, so every time I have a meeting with my boss, I talk to my boss and I'm like, I book the meeting. I do what I learned on Monday and Tuesday about how to book a meeting vocabulary. And when I'm in the meeting, I try to be conversational with them. I try to smile. I try to speak the way, same way I'm talking right now. That's the way I speak with them. I'm not gonna be like, "Hi, How are you? Like speaking like with this low, very low emotion, or speaking very flat. Um, no one likes to be in boring meetings. There are some meetings that I have to be in, and sometimes they're boring, and I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't be here. I should be maybe doing something else, like working on a report or whatever. Okay, so but I want to understand a lot more of what you do, because that's the only way on how I'll see where exactly I can give you a hand on this. All right. So I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes. Do something like this. Do some writing. Like key points, right? So like what do you do in your meetings? Like who do you talk to? Like even the name of the person, you can put it in there. What kind of meeting is that? How many meetings you have a week? How many meetings you have a day? What kind of meetings are those? Which one is the most important? Which one you struggle with more? Um, and let me know once you're done, so we can see where I can give you a hand on. Okay,
Cool.
good. I'm gonna give you 5. You guys good now or you need more?
I think that I'm good.
You done?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, Carlos, Brian,
Yeah, I'm done.
you done. Okay, good. So who wants to share the screen and see what you wrote down?
I can go first if you like.
Okay, that's good. Hey Luis, welcome.
Oh, hey teacher. Good morning. Hi guys.
Hey.
Morning.
Please let me know if you are able to see what I'm sharing.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay,
I do.
awesome. So basically, my position here in the company, information security and compliance analyst. I am in charge of providing insights and guidelines for companies to improve their security. During the meetings I hold with the people, I provide the results for the gap analysis. So basically, it's like when you go to the doctor for some tests, and the doctor tells you basically this is what you have and this is what you need to improve and all of that. The same thing happens with the information security, which is a topic that has been uh, like growing within the last years, right after the pandemic, actually. um, it's when it boosted really fast. I give the recommendations how to improve the security in their company, to understand what's important for the company, and tell them how to secure it. Every company is different. Let's say, for example, a hospital will have different information that they want to secure and keep it private. It will be way different than a candy shop, for example. Um, I also follow up with the improvement of the recommendations I give. And here in the company, I report, sorry, I missed a T there, to the IT head of the company. And the most important thing is to add value for the companies by improving their security posture.
Okay. And what are your struggles when talking to them?
What are my struggles when talking to I would say sometimes the vocabulary, because remember, this is something very specialized, and I think it happens to all of us.
Mm,
When we talk of the new terms or situations
yeah.
uh, that you need to explain, right? And that's probably one the struggle I have.
Okay. And um yeah, I think that's it. Do you get nervous when you talk to? Is it only one person you report to, or you talk to more?
No, I speak with more people. It depends. Sometimes I do get nervous.
Uh-huh.
For
Sorry, you're mute. Okay.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, sometimes I do get nervous, but it depends to whom I show in the reports. Let's say, for example, if it's the upper management,
Hmm.
sometimes I do get nervous, right? Um, but I think that I have been able to control it very good, because at my previous company, I was the person in charge of providing the trainings for the other
Oh,
employees.
okay. Okay, then you got experience.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, I think at the beginning it's quite normal for us to get nervous whenever we have a presentation to somebody. Sometimes, as you say, there are people like, okay, we are going to present to someone, and we're like, I mean, it's good, right? I'm good. I'm gonna present to this person. There's nothing much to worry about. But sometimes there are people that we need to present, and that's like kind of tough because they're even bosses or managers or people that we never spoken with, and we don't know like what's gonna happen. But in the end, when you speak to upper management, Carlos, has something gone wrong in your meetings or on what you've said to them?
No, no, and they're
Never.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this one time when somebody asked me something very specific, well, she asked me, right, and I started answering, but then my boss got pretty upset because I was just like providing too many details to the audit manager. And my boss was like, yeah, Carlos, but thank you for your intervention, we will talk later. And that particular day I was pretty upset, and I was pretty disappointed because that went pretty bad. But
And
that's the
is your boss
particular.
here or?
No, it was at a previous company.
Oh, okay. Okay. But out of how many times you got this like it's only gone wrong once, but how many times have you presented? Have you been in meetings?
Yeah, several times.
It's been a lot, right? It's
Yeah,
been quite a lot of times. So
yeah,
sometimes we do get nervous when meetings, and there's no reason why, right? There's no need to get nervous, and still we do get nervous, right? So and it happens to me. Well, it happened to me in the past. Um, I used to present to the client, and it was weekly, and every time we would have a meeting, I would be nervous because he was very tough, and there were a lot of people in the meeting, and then in the end, after speaking with my peers here in El Salvador and my peers in Canada, even one of the managers in Canada, she was like, I always get nervous when speaking to Priyash. That's what's the name of my boss client in Canada. And I was like, oh yeah, me as well. I don't know why. And well, we knew why because he was like, if you were presenting and if you were not 100% of what you were presenting, he would sense that, he would feel that, and he would call your attention very upset because he was like that. He was like that. Sometimes we would finish meetings like even 10 minutes after, when somebody was presenting something that was not making a lot of sense. He was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm upset. I don't want to be in this meeting. You guys should be ready for this meeting. Bye. And then he would close the meeting, or he would go farther down upset with he never got upset with me, but he would, he was upset a couple of times with my peers, and I was like, some of the times I was like, I don't understand why these people do not do their job as they're supposed to, and some other times I was like, they should have done that. They shouldn't have done it. But but anyways, he never called my attention, and then in the end, I was like, why do I get nervous with him? If I always do the right thing, I shouldn't be nervous, right? So my message here is that if you get nervous, try to think like how many times you've been in that meeting, how many times you've been nervous, and if something goes wrong, and if you've been several times in those meetings, and if never something, you know, if nothing has gone wrong ever, so then there's no reason why you should be nervous. And what's wrong with being nervous? That sometimes that's when we tend to speak fast. That's when we go do the run around, and people do not understand, or we missed some words, or we mixed the pronunciation. We do a lot of things that are not supposed to be done during the meetings. Okay, so that's why. But that's good. That's your example, Carlos. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Dan, I see that you want to like, oh, I want to talk.
You see it in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go, but I cannot share my screen because I was connected from the phone, and for the exercise I had to turn on the computer. So
Okay.
I'm connected to the phone, but the things that I wrote are in the computer.
It's all right.
So about my position, I'm a service delivery leader. It is not a regular position, but I could say that it's a mix between a project manager and a staff manager, something like that. So basically, I take care of the project regarding the tasks, the milestones, and the follow-ups. And on the other hand, I'm responsible to keep a good environment with the people, with the team, for the client, and to coordinate some specific action items within our team in Aplaudo and with the team from the client. In my case, it is also Walmart. Regarding the meetings I have several follow-ups. Those are daily stand-ups with the team. In case we have some action items, we have separate follow-ups as well. We have a couple of decision-making meetings for the team because sometimes they will have some changes, and so we met with the client in order to do some changes and to improve a couple of things. Problem solving. Sometimes I'm the first person when something is not going as expected. I'm the first person that they escalate to the client, right? So whenever there is a thing to improve, they reach out to me. So we have a session, we discuss about it, and so we decide an action plan to do some changes if necessary, or to whatever activity that is necessary to apply. Right. Also, we have MBRs. That's the monthly business review. So basically, it's a quick sync with the managers and director from the client. So in order to make sure that we are doing our best and that they are receiving what they are expecting from our service, right? About the person I report to, the thing is that we have two different structures, organizational structures here. The first one is from Aplaudo, so I report a specific person here in Aplaudo, but I also report a manager in the client. So I have like two different people who I report to, basically, right?
Okay, that's good.
And about how many meetings, it is not a fit number. But it will be something between 5 to 10 daily meetings. Depends on the day, depends on the month as well. So at the end of the week, probably we will have at least more than 20 different meetings, right? A couple of them are the small meetings, like 15 minutes, probably some small follow-ups that we have every day.
But
some others are more extended. Yeah,
too many minutes.
Yeah, and every day, right? We have 15 minutes a daily stand-up for 15 minutes every day. Then we have another session for to discover some issues or to review some issues that other team has discovered. So, but yeah, a lot of basically my position has a lot of meetings in a daily basis. And what's the most important meeting? Probably I cannot say just one. Probably the escalations, right, because they require some immediate action from our side. When we need to solve any problem, we also need to act quickly, and mainly the monthly business review, because that is basically the touch point that we have with the business in order to make any changes, and when we present some of the status of the several activities that we are handling during the month.
I think in your case, like most of the, I mean, like speaking about what's the most important meeting, I think all of them are because of the position. And the struggles.
Probably is to build an environment of trust with the client, because of the culture that they have. Like as I was saying before, most of them are from India, and the culture from them is very different. So at the beginning, and it happened to me, I had to earn the trust from the client, right? At the beginning, they were like, it's not like they didn't trust me, but it's like they were giving me an opportunity to build a trust with them and show them that I can do my job correctly, right? Yeah, And the other thing is that we have a couple of managers that are like probably not the same way that the client that you had that you were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
But they are like kind of difficult personality. They are very
Okay.
direct. They cut you off if they are not happy, right? So probably dealing with those kind of
Okay.
culture or personalities with the client.
And those personality types, um, are people from the US exactly like native speakers or also Indian or what?
Probably it is a mix. Some of them
It's a
are from
mix.
India, but some others are from the United States. They are native from the United States.
And who are the ones who are more like that, like more direct in the meetings?
Uh, in my case, at least for the people who I relate, both of them. I
All
mean,
of them?
they have both of them. I mean, also natives and Indians. The
Uh-huh.
thing is that they have different ways to say things, but at the end
Okay.
of the day, probably they are more direct. They are not uh, circle and circle about doing things. And if
Right.
they are not happy, they tell you probably in this in different way, but they make sure that you notice that they are not happy.
Okay. And in those scenarios, and this question goes for everyone, in those scenarios, how do you think they expect the communication to be with them when they're direct like when they're direct like them with you? How do you expect their communication from you coming to them should be? So if they're very direct with you, how do you how do you think they expect you to be with them?
The same
The same
thing.
way.
The same. Yeah. And maybe I'm not generalizing because I don't know them. I don't know your bosses. I've never been to the meetings that you are daily, but you know them more than I than I. So I think in the end, like for example, I have different sessions and different meetings daily as well with my bosses in Canada. And I've identified with each one of them like how they like me to communicate with them. Okay, so for example, I had this boss. He was Indian. He was Indian, by the way. He was living in Canada. He was Indian, but I liked him. I liked him, and I liked work working with him because he was direct. He was always straight to the point. He was never doing the round around. If he didn't like something, he would tell me right on the spot. And he was very strict. He was very he was I think I liked everything about him because he was very compromised as well with the his commitment with the work. Rather, he was very good. So there's a lot of things that I learned from him, and I also learned how to be direct as well with people. Sometimes being direct doesn't mean being rude. That's a whole different story. Being direct means that if it is a very important meeting and we only have 10 minutes, they're not gonna, if they ask you, hey Ben, how are you? They're not gonna be asking you because they want to know how really your day is going, and you're gonna start talking, oh, I already had coffee. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna do this later. No, they're not asking you about that. If it is only 10 minutes meeting, they're asking you, hey Ben, how are you? They're asking you because they're polite. But they're asking you like, okay, so just tell me I'm good, and then start telling what I need to hear, right? Like the reports or whatever you need to report with them. Um, you need to identify what kind of boss or people you report to and meetings that you have with. And if they behave one way, you need to behave that way with them as well. And I'm only talking about communication only, okay? I'm not talking about something else, because I don't know them, you know them. Okay. We only have 3 minutes right now. I'm gonna need you to please send me I'm gonna create a group with you. Can I have one number? One of
I
you.
think we already have a group in the WhatsApp. I don't know if you are in.
Is it with the previous teacher?
No, with this class.
With this class.
Yeah, let me check.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, it's ITN2.
Oh, okay. There's one. Okay, that's nice then. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a homework today. It's not a homework, it's gonna be more like what exactly. Now I know a little bit more about you. I know a little bit more about though. I know a little bit more about what you guys do. Not all of you, but some of you. I'm gonna need you to send me what areas or in what specifically you think you need help on in the language, okay, or in the communication area. Okay, what exactly you need my help on. I'm gonna send you a file with the document. It's gonna have, it's just for you to fill it out, right? Like, do you need assistance on this? Yes, no. Do you need help on this? No. Okay, any other thing you might need help on? I mean, it's just a matter of reading and then you'll answer, okay? It's not a homework, it's more of information I need to have. That way I'm gonna work along with you in different areas and try to improve whatever you guys need to improve. All right. If you believe, if you believe that your English is good, that you're a master already, that you don't have any problems, that you need no help, that's good. And that's valid. That's valid. So then, um, I'm gonna need your help so we can help the rest of the team. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys go. I wish you have a good, is it Wednesday today? Yeah, Wednesday. Okay, you guys have a good Wednesday. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
All right.
Take care,
Ciao.
bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a
Bye
good one.
bye.